right, guys, what's going on? This is Matt Kowalis from Detroit Sports Bettors, and we are now in week 7 of the NFL season, and the Detroit Sports Bettors YouTube Picks and Play series is just rolling on. You know, we are now 22-5 since this series started. We've been doing it the past 4 weeks, okay? We went 6-1, 5-2, 6-0, and then followed it up with another 5-2 week, just absolutely crushing it. And honestly, you guys are too. The views on these videos have doubled every single week. I'm getting more and more likes. I'm getting more and more subscribers. So please continue to push that for me. We are putting out a lot of free information. If this is the only spot that you watch Detroit Sports Bettors, please check out our podcast on Apple and Spotify. We have a Twitter where we give out picks and information all day long. We also have a Facebook. It's a community of over 6.6 thousand people where we just give picks, plays, information. I write articles for Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. I break down the Wednesday NBA slate. I break down the entire NFL Sunday slate. So I'm telling you guys, there is no other sports gambling Facebook group like Detroit Sports Bettors. You need to check it out. You need to get in there. We have an amazing Discord, once again, with picks, plays, information, injury reports, everything. So check that out. And again, guys, I truly, truly appreciate your support. And again, we're 22-5 the past 4, and throughout the entirety of the season, if you've listened to the Detroit Sports Bettors podcast, we are 29-13 and just looking to keep it rolling today. So let's get right into it, because again, today is Thursday, October 21st. Getting this out a little late because myself and Mike Sullivan were in Las Vegas. We interviewed UFC champion Brandon Moreno. Amazing experience. One of the coolest guys I've ever met, especially for a UFC champion. So please keep an eye out. That interview is coming soon. And again, thank you so much for the support, and just got to keep it going. So again, today, Thursday Night Football, we have the Denver Broncos traveling on the road going against the Cleveland Browns. Not an official pick of mine. I always want to give you Thursday Night Football. I always want to give you Monday Night Football because, I mean, it's a primetime matchup. Who doesn't love throwing down just a little cash to make it a little more exciting? You know what I mean? So again, not an official pick, but I do have 2 spots where I feel okay. That's where I'm going to be going, at least. So again, let's get into it. This is the Cleveland Browns -1 at home against the Denver Broncos currently, and that over-under is set at 41. I am going to be going with the Cleveland Browns. Right now, the money on this is somewhat 50-50. Both teams in their last 10 are 5-5 against the spread. It's a tough game to pick. In addition to that, Baker Mayfield is out. Nick Chubb is out. Kareem Hunt is out. But a lot of people are freaking out about the Baker thing, and that really does not matter to me. I could care less. Baker has been playing like trash the entire year. He's not making a ton of plays for the Cleveland Browns. The ones who are making the plays are the running backs and the offensive line. And with Case Keenum coming in, it's not that huge of a downgrade to me. I think Case Keenum can make enough plays to get this team over the hump. And I say it's really going to be Case Keenum versus Teddy Bridgewater because both teams are top 6 in the NFL in rushing defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if both teams tried to get the run game going early. They don't. So both teams have to turn to the pass. Case Keenum is one of those quarterbacks who he's willing to try and stretch the field a little more. He's willing to try and make some tough throws, where Teddy Bridgewater, on the other hand, really is not. And I give the edge to the Cleveland Browns defense. The way that you beat the Cleveland Browns defense is by taking chances. You have to try and stretch the field, pass interferences, stuff like that. And the Broncos do have the receivers that could get the Browns in a little bit of trouble, but the Browns also have the defensive line that could get the Broncos in trouble, with Myles Garrett, with Jadeveon Clowney. If you start hitting Teddy Bridgewater early, he gets off his spot. He gets a little jumpy. He gets a little scared. And I think that's what happens here. This is also in the dog pound in Cleveland. So it's a tough spot to play. It's getting a little colder, could be a little rainy. I am siding with Cleveland on that. I will always side with Cleveland on that. Because 1, I think they have the better front 4. Yes, they have definitely caught the injury bug. But all in all, I just think this is a better team. I like Keenum. Over Teddy Bridgewater. So yeah, that's where I'm going to be riding with this one. I checked out some player props and I just couldn't really find anywhere to go. Like it's going to be a very low. If anything, do like the under points prop or something like that, because I feel like this is going to be a low scoring game. Could be a snooze fest. Thursday Night Football has actually been pretty solid this year, but this is one that could be a little brutal. I tune in no matter what. I'm always excited for football, but could definitely see some field goals in this one. So again, I have Cleveland -1 and the under 41 in the Thursday night football matchup. Now getting to some picks and plays that I actually do like. Starting off with the Philadelphia Eagles traveling on the road going against the Las Vegas Raiders. For one, the Philadelphia Eagles played last Thursday. Okay, so they get an extra day of rest and an extra day of preparation heading into this matchup. All right, I'm going with the Eagles +3, and I like it a lot. I also think the Eagles have a very good chance to win this one outright. Last week, I thought that was the letdown spot for the Raiders. Ended up not so much, kind of because of the Gruden debacle, him releasing himself, whatever. I think it's this week now. I really do. If you've watched the Las Vegas Raiders, they're one of those teams who can compete with the best of the best, but when kind of subpar teams come in, they're right there with them as well. And this statistic, I already kind of knew this, but the Raiders are 1-5 against the spread as home favorites. They're a home favorite here. They're getting 3 against the Eagles. And for one, the Eagles are kind of starting to figure it out a little bit. They at least rushed the ball 20 times last week, which is huge for the Eagles. And Miles Sanders has a good yard per carry average. The Las Vegas Raiders are 25th in the NFL in rushing yards given up per game. And I think the Eagles realize that they need to get Miles Sanders going more. Then in turn, you have Jalen Hurts who can run those RPOs. He can run a lot of rollouts. You're getting the defense more inside. And then in addition to that, I just think, yes, Jalen Hurts definitely has some accuracy issues, but he is also one of those quarterbacks who makes 1 or 2 plays per week that puts the Eagles kind of ahead. He can get that 30-yard bomb. He can extend it with his legs. He can go pick up first downs with his legs. And I like taking quarterbacks like that. I really do. Not only that, you guys know, you've heard me talk about this before. I'm not a believer in the Raiders. I just have not been. I'm not a believer in Derek Carr. You don't know what you're going to get from him every single week. The Philadelphia Eagles just got back their best offensive lineman in Lane Johnson. So again, that's where I'm going to go. And I like the Eagles to potentially even win this one outright. So I'll be on the Eagles +3 in this one. Moving on to the next game, we have the Washington football team going against the Green Bay Packers. And right now, I like the Washington football team at +8.5. Okay. The Washington football team have one key thing that you really need to just watch and monitor going into kickoff. And that is star wideout Terry McLaurin, who has the questionable tag right now. And it is a hamstring injury. Hamstrings are always the worst to see for your players, especially in fantasy, because it's so naggy. It's soft tissue. But I don't know if he's going to play. I truly hope he does. If he plays, I love Washington. He just makes such a difference. He can line up on the outside. He can line up on the inside. He's that one guy on the football team who can take the top off the defense. They have to respect his speed. He's the one guy that Heineke trusts enough. If he's one-on-one down the field, he'll just throw it up to him, say, go make a play. When you lose that, it's enormous. Those safeties literally have to back up 2 yards, 3 yards because of Terry McLaurin. If you run a play action pass, they're going to stay back because of Terry McLaurin. So it's just that key of a factor. They don't have anyone else like him. Antonio Gibson is questionable as well, but I think Terry McLaurin is far more important than Antonio Gibson right now for this team because he's really the only one who is going up and getting it. He's the one who's making consistent plays, catches in traffic, catches on the sideline, a little bit of everything, But other than Terry, the the Washington football team, when they are facing a home favorite, they are 7-3 against the spread. So they're really competing with those tough teams. And like last week, they kind of got blown out at home. It was a pretty tight game until halftime. So again, got embarrassed. I think they're going to go into Green Bay playing a lot tougher. Green Bay is right there with the Cleveland Browns when it comes to having like a ton of injuries. They just lost, I believe they lost Darnell Savage. Desmond King is questionable. Preston Smith is out. So again, they're losing their pass rushers. They're losing their corners. They're losing their star safety, So it really is a good spot for the Washington football team. And I like them here at +8.5. But again, this is one that you need to monitor leading into kickoff. Moving into the next play, and I'm sure a lot of you guys already knew this because I talk about the Cincinnati Bengals every damn week, and I love it because, again, they're plus 2,500 to win the division at the beginning of the year. I just put a little sprinkle on it. I had them going 10-7 this year, and I had the Baltimore Ravens just edging them out with 11-6, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like what I see from the Ravens. I don't know. Like, they're 5-1. A great record. They've won a ton of close games, but I really think a lot of this says more about their opponents than it even does them. Every single week, they are getting more and more injured. They just lost their best offensive lineman in Ronnie Staley for the entire year. So this is going to catch up with them at some point. It really is. The Cincinnati Bengals lost to the Baltimore Ravens, so there's a huge revenge narrative here. They lost 27-3 and 38-3, just getting smacked around last year. Now Burrow is back. You guys know how he is. He gets up for this. He fires the squad up for this. You know, T. Higgins on the outside, Jamar Chase on the outside, Joe Mixon. They are just playing. They're playing good football. This is one of the most lethal receiving cores in all of football, or offenses in all of football. The only reason I hesitate to say offense is because that line is a little iffy. But if they can protect Joe Burrow here, I think they make enough plays to cover this spread, the plus 6.5. I really like this spread. The Ravens play a lot of teams close. They play a lot of teams tight. You know what I mean? As do the Bengals. The Bengals have been amazing against the spread this year. And I'm just going to keep riding it here with this one. And again, I think this is a Ravens offense that could be in trouble. I think they're overdue for a letdown. I mean, you can kind of tell I hate when people prove me wrong, and the Ravens have proved me wrong numerous times this year. So when a team proves me wrong like that, I'm going to be against them a lot of the time. And I'm usually not wrong in the long run. I promise you that. This is not a Super Bowl team. I don't know. I think there's another team just like the Packers who will probably be out in the divisional round. I'm sorry if that's your team, but that's how I see it right now. So I like the Bengals at plus 6.5 in this one. Moving on. This was a late ad for me, but again, it makes sense. So I don't have a lot of like key statistics and numbers. It was just one that I saw. I was like, oh shit, I forgot to add that. But this one is the Miami Dolphins at plus 2.5 at home against the Atlanta Falcons. You guys remember last week I picked the Jaguars plus 4 in London, and I kind of like the Jaguars to win outright. Like I had them in my pick 'em and stuff like that. And that's one thing that I say you can do too, is if you don't like a game enough to take the money line and you're in a pick 'em challenge, toss them in your pick 'em. You have to make some crazy picks and plays in that pick 'em to get it going. Through week 6, I have 64 correct, and the leader has 65. So I'm right on his heels, trying to catch up to him there. But this is one that I'm going to have the Dolphins straight up in my pick 'em. When I watch the Atlanta Falcons, I'm actually surprised because this team is worse than last year. They really are. I'm drawing a blank on the head coach right now, but he's doing a terrible job. Matt Ryan is just making some very questionable throws as well. And I think this Dolphins defense at home gets up for this one. They haven't been playing very good. And what better team to get up for than Atlanta? Atlanta's just one of those teams where you never ever know what you're going to get. Yeah, one week they can go put up 27 or something like that. The next week they're going to come out and they're going to put up a 13. They're going to put up a 17. They're just one of those squads. And Calvin Ridley has been injured as well. Don't know if he's going to play. I haven't really looked into that too much. It's a game that I'm going to dive into leading up to Sunday. But I like the Dolphins plus 2.5 here. This is just an Atlanta team that, again, they're not that good. I don't trust them. They don't have a run game. Their pass game isn't that good. So I'll be on the Dolphins plus 2.5 in this one. Now, moving on to the Tennessee Titans at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. And when I first saw this line, I was actually a little surprised. And a lot of the people that I've seen too are heavy on the Chiefs. They are. And I don't know. They're coming off that big win in Washington. They're coming to Tennessee now. For me, I think this is more of a Tennessee setup. We saw that big win against the Bills last week and what Derrick Henry can do. I took the Derrick Henry under, and I will never do that again for the rest of my life because he is just that good. He is just insanely good. When he had that 75-yard touchdown, how effortless did that look for a 240-pound man? Like, my goodness, he was separating from the corners. He was separating from the safeties. They were 10 yards behind him by the end of it. So again, this Chiefs defense is way worse than the Bills defense. This is the worst defense in the league. I've said this for years and years, and that Super Bowl win was truly just a smokescreen for that defense. I honestly think it could have been a bad thing because Andy Reid could be like, well, whatever. At least we can just deal with this defense. And no, this defense is absolutely trash. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Chris Jones is their only pass rusher, and hopefully he's going to be back this week. Tyrann Mathieu is not the Tyrann Mathieu of old. They don't have good corners. Their linebacking core is not good at all either. So again, this Chiefs defense just, I don't see them stopping anything. So I think this is one of those games where Derrick Henry runs all over them, 150 yards plus, 2 touchdowns again. And then on top of that, A.J. Brown is back. Julio Jones, they're meshing. They're getting that chemistry with Ryan Tannehill. You have to respect that play action pass. And when you have guys like A.J. Brown, who has absolute burners, and he is so good on that play action in cut, like maybe the best in the NFL. And Julio Jones, he's still coming along. He's still figuring out that connection with Ryan Tannehill, but there's been a lot of injuries early on. And now this will be the 3rd week in a row that they're all playing together. I think this is a very good spot for Tennessee. Getting 5.5 here, that's a good amount of points. I think this could be a 3-4 point game. Again, I like going back to the pick'em. I have Kansas City in my pick'em for this one, but this is one that I teeter on a little bit. I really do. Last week, I see it playing the same way. I see Kansas City driving down the field, needing a late touchdown, needing a late field goal. The way that Tennessee and Bills game ended, they stopped them, but there was also a little bit of luck there. To me, you don't get under center like that and just try a QB sneak for a yard. I think you just run a QB power and let Zach Moss lead you. I think that would have been the better way to do it because then you give Josh Allen at least a chance to read the defense. Oh, yes, obviously a defensive tackle, a defensive end can shoot a gap and get you in the backfield, but I think it's far more likely that you get a quarterback like Josh Allen going and moving forward with Zach Moss leading it. Just run the QB power. I think that should be used a little more. But again, this one, Tennessee Titans plus 5.5. I really think Derrick Henry gets it going. I think A.J. Brown gets it going. I don't think this looks good for the Chiefs right here. When I watched the Chiefs last week, I saw a lot of things that troubled me. They made a lot of mistakes. Patty Mahomes is missing throws that I've never watched him miss those before. So again, I'm going to be going with Tennessee here. And because, as you guys have watched throughout the season too, with Kansas City, when they're in that bounce back spot, I love them. They've covered for us every single time, 2 times as main plays. But today, I think they're for Sunday, I think they're in a letdown spot. So again, I'm going to be with the Tennessee Titans at plus 5.5. Moving on to the very last play of the day. And again, this is Detroit Sports Bettors. So I generally talk about the Lions real quick because we have the double revenge factor with Matt Stafford and Jared Goff. This is a plus 15.5 spread. If I were to go anywhere, it would be with the Rams. I think it's pretty evident that the Lions have the worst roster in football. And then again, if I were to go any direction here, it would actually probably be the over. I think due to the double narrative, Jared Goff, Dan Campbell called out Jared Goff. Generally when a quarterback or player is called out like that, they tend to respond. They do. And when I say respond, I'm not saying win the game. I'm not saying throw for 400 yards. I'm saying I think they can put up 17 points. I'm saying I think they can put up maybe 20 points, 23 tops. But when you're comparing that to the Rams, who are probably going to put up 35, 38, maybe even get to 40, the Rams are very, very good at putting up points on bad defenses. So, and again, this offense is lethal. Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Bob Woods, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, Darrell Henderson, they're just moving. And that defense is great too with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Yes, they could very easily shut them down. And I'm not sitting here. This is very similar to Thursday Night Football, not an official pick. It's just I like to cover it because we are Detroit Sports Bettors and we do have the Lions. Okay. So again, guys, that is my picks and plays for this NFL Week 7. Shout out. Going over them one more time. We have the Eagles +3 on the road against the Raiders. I like them to potentially win that one outright. Washington football team +8.5 against the Packers. Please monitor that one up until kickoff with wideout Terry McLaurin. We have the Cincinnati Bengals on the road going against the Baltimore Ravens at +6.5. And then we're going to be going with the Miami Dolphins at home. We're not only going with road dogs, okay? But now we got the Dolphins at home +2.5 against the garbage Atlanta Falcons. And then we have the Tennessee Titans at home +5.5 against the Kansas City Chiefs. As always, guys, thank you so much for your support. Please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe. We had over 700 views last time. I only have around 300 subscribers. You know, this is a new channel. Help a brother out. You know, keep it going for me. We are 22-5, looking to build off that. Let's get this, guys. And again, check out Detroit Sports Bettors on Facebook. We have articles almost every single day. You can talk picks. You can talk plays. We have a sick Discord with, once again, it has injury reports. It has picks, plays. You can vote on what spread you think, the entire Discord. Like, we've really got some cool stuff going on here, and we're only looking to expand more. We have TikTok as well. So guys, please check that out. Continue the support. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Shout out. Good luck this week.